Hello, fellow flourishers. I hope you're all doing fine. And here is story number two on our By the Fireside series. And we'll call it The Man Who Loved to Eat Potatoes. Who doesn't? Right. Now, just like last time, I'll narrate the story and the video will end when the story ends. And you can tell me in the comments if the story gave you some special takeaway, or if you felt a certain way, or if it gave you some thoughts while you listened to it or you finished listening to it, and we can have a conversation around that. So here comes the story. So there was a man who loved to eat potatoes, and while he had tasted a wide array of dishes that were made using potatoes, he had never really cooked one, and he finally got an opportunity to do that. And he was all excited. So he called a friend who's supposed to be a good cook, and he told her, "Hey, I'm really stoked. I'm going to uh, be able to cook something using potatoes today. So can you send me a recipe that's actually pretty simple to make, but tastes really good, and it'll make for some good memories for me." So she was also happy. She said, "Yeah, yeah, give me 5-10 minutes. I'll send you the recipe right away." And our man couldn't wait for the recipe to land, so he immediately rushed to the market, bought himself a bag full of, let's say, 2 3 kilos of potatoes, a huge stash of potatoes, rushed back home, right, and cleaned, wiped the mud clean or removed all the mud from it, and then cleaned them up, drained excess water, and he had it all set. And he found that the recipe had already arrived. So he just opened the recipe, and the very first statement, he was all excited, right? The very first statement that he saw there was uh, clean and prepare about 4 to 5 medium sized or 3 large sized potatoes to a maximum of about 500 grams. And he said, "Here I've got 2 kilograms or 2.5 kilograms." And these guys are saying just 500 grams. That's not even one fifth of what I have, right? And he said, "Okay, anyway, let me, go along with the recipe. Let's not give up so early." And then it started adding ingredient after ingredient, right? So it said, add some capsicum, some onions, and then it said, obviously, yeah, yeah, keep them all aside, but prep the pan first, add oil, add some mustard seeds, this spice, that spice, garlic paste, ginger paste, pretty much everything that you see in any modern day recipe, right? So you find something in the kitchen that is not used to wash utensils, you add it to the pan, right? And then he said with every passing ingredient he felt the share that the potato had in the overall dish was actually coming down and down and down. And finally he finished cooking. He just went along the way, and he kind of tasted it. It tasted pretty good. He was okay. He was as happy with it as he was with all the other dishes, but he said, "I wanted to make potatoes. I had 3 kilograms of potatoes. I couldn't make use of all of that. Barely 500 grams, and that too with an assortment of other ingredients that came in and fundamentally uh, left with their own signatures, but I have not had potatoes." So he called his friend. Anyway, he was grateful, and he called his friend and said, "Hey, thanks so much. You sent the recipe. I made that dish, and the curry was amazing." She said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm happy that the food was amazing, but your tone doesn't match what you're telling me, right? You seem disappointed." That's when the floodgates broke, right? So opened the floodgates of his emotions. He said, "I'm terribly disappointed. I told you I love potatoes. I wanted to make potatoes. I went and bought 3 kilograms of potatoes, right? And you never gave me the right recipe that could maximize, the use of potatoes. Instead, it just played a side part." And she tried to explain, "Look, that's not how cooking works." Right? And he said, "No, no, no, I'm terribly disappointed. I'm not willing to listen. Can you help me or not?" So she said, "Okay, fine, I'll indulge him." Right? And she said, "Okay, do one thing. Peel the skin of all the other remaining potatoes, the 2.5 kilos that you have left, right? And chop it into fine pieces. Just soak it in water for about 10 15 minutes. Then, uh, soak lay the whole thing on a towel, and then soak the water off. Damn it, fill the whole uh, pan with oil, and then deep fry it till it is golden brown, and enjoy your potatoes and let me know how it is." So he did that, did exactly all of that, and he transferred the whole thing to plate. Now it really looked like potatoes, right? And he said, "Last time I had a spoonful of the stew. Now I'm going to have a handful." He took a whole handful, stuffed it in his mouth, and started biting them with all the anticipation. Started chewing, and he said, "The taste will come." Hmm? Where is the taste? He had never eaten anything that bland in his whole life. And then he looked at the plate full of potatoes. Huge, huge, huge serving was left, right? And then he looked the other way. He saw that in that little pot, he still had some of the stew left. So he just pushed this aside. He had earlier pushed that aside and brought the whole plate of potatoes in. He pushed the roasted golden brown potatoes aside, pulled the stew in, brought some rice, mixed both, had a sumptuous meal, looked at the ceiling reflectively, turned a bit disappointed, and then had a kind of a sense of realization dawn on him. He said, "Yeah, okay, just like I'm doing right now," and then walked away from there. So that's the end of the story. Let us know how it felt in the comments. Thank you.